a quarterback. By the way, it's not just me now that's starting to throw out disrespect towards your quarterback. It's not just me, man. It's national media people, too, doing it and throwing disrespect at Jalen Hurts. So I was listening to a soundbite by Albert Breer, and he said that A.J. Brown's camp, and I'm paraphrasing here, that A.J. Brown's camp is doing their due diligence. They're doing the work. And if they're really going to continue to push for a trade, here's two things that A.J. Brown wants. Ready? He wants numbers, targets. He wants a better pass offense. And he wants a quarterback that can get him the football. I don't know how that's not shitting on the quarterback. That's not me. That's a guy who's plugged into A.J. Brown's people. Okay? It's there. It is there for you. How you doing? A.J. Brown's people want out. Now, I will say this. If I were him, I'd be very careful about wanting and where I might land. Okay? I might be very careful. Okay? Rumblings on Jalen Carter being traded and being made available for Maxx Crosby. Well, let me comment on that right now. And let me get back to AJ here. Let me write it down here. This is the second time now I've heard Jalen Carter's name being mentioned in a trade. I heard it with Micah Parsons, and I now have heard it with Maxx Crosby. I got to tell you, it's got to be a character thing now for the Eagles. It's got to be a character thing. And they're concerned about the player's character and about the player's motivation. You don't get rid of a guy like that unless you're nervous about the guy's character. Okay? So if you're hearing rumblings about that having Jalen Carter's name being mentioned in a potential trade package for Maxx Crosby, it's because they got a problem with the player and his character. Justin Herbert, Mike McDaniel, and the Chargers are perfect for AJ. Seem like that's a perfect destination. It does. Man, you're giving up on that player already. Plus, personally, I'm starting to believe that the Eagles don't want to pay that number. Wow. Eagles have made DT Jalen Carter available in a trade that could land Maxx Crosby. Eagles have floated the idea of including Jalen Carter in a Maxx Crosby trade. Now, until we start seeing a little bit more of this, but boy, it's got to be a character issue. Xander put my Carter jersey on ice for now. NFL players are not Eagles' soft-ass franchise. Seals, the goal is to get Crosby next to Carter, not sacrifice one or the other. That's not building an unstoppable D-line. Eagles are BBQ if this is true. Word on the Now, remember something too. Wait a second. Actually, Steve's not wrong. Steve's not wrong. And I'll tell you why. You're in the land right now of make believe. So things that you hear, Steve's not really off here. Okay, he's not. They're people could float the idea. You know who may have floated that idea out? Drew Rosenhaus. Shields, how many good years does Crosby have left realistically? Player takes great care of himself. I disagree with John McMullen. I think the guy's a good football player. And and it's not that John doesn't think he's not a good football player, by the way. So who do you think AJ gets moved to? I'm still saying, okay, I'm still saying that he gets moved to New England. So we get rid of Milton Williams and then trade Jalen Carter. Big fail by Howie and the organization. Those mofos are seriously dumb. Prince, hang in there. I'm always a little bit suspect of the shit that I'm hearing now. Okay? Laurie wasn't happy about the spitting. I don't think he was happy about the play. And I don't think he was happy about the attitude of the player. I think the player is kind of making people a little bit nervous. I know this. I'll tell you this. If you got rid of Jalen Carter and you got something in return for the player, okay, and you got, I would want clearly Maxx Crosby, Jalen Carter, wow. What a fall from grace that would be with the Eagles, if depending on what they got back in return. Maybe they believe in Moro Jomo and Davis together. They're more reliable. So you see Rashawn Gary going to be released by the Packers. Gary's a better player than Phillips. How about this? I never thought of this. You're really getting rid of a $30 million a year player in Jalen Carter if you get Maxx Crosby. If you get Maxx Crosby, hell, the Eagles might draft another defensive tackle. Ever since the sex doll in the locker room, it was over. Fire Sirianni. Fuck Howie and sell the team, Lori. Baby shoulders not going to hold up. So here's what you got to worry about, Twiz. Twiz, think about this with think about this, okay? So you got to worry about the shoulders and the attitude. Let me take a look at Rashawn Gary. Let's see, Rashawn Gary. He's 28 years old, too. Wow, is he a way better player than Phillips? 9.5, 6, 9, 7.5, 7.5. And he's durable. Only 1 year he was injured, and that was 22. And he's 28 years old. I would clearly take that guy in the Philadelphia Eagles. His last 4 years, 6 sacks, 9 sacks, 7.5, 7.5. He's 6'5", 278. He's 280 pounds. He's 6'5", 280. So your bookends could be Rashawn Gary and Maxx Crosby. Man, I'm in. Sign me the fuck up. Draft another DT next to Carter, or excuse me, next to Davis. Plus Davis gets a big bonus. Sills, if you were GM, would you be doing with AJ? Would you make that trade for Carter for Crosby? The AJ thing is more complex because of the money. The Carter for Crosby, it makes sense. They got a problem with his shoulders and his attitude. And I would think Vic has something to do with that. Now, look, let's be careful and let's play and let's stay in the lane that his name's being floated out. It might be Carter that's old man out instead of AJ. It could be flexing. Who would you rather get rid of, Jalen Carter or AJ Brown? Little off topic. You think it's all said and done, Ohtani will be the greatest ball? He hit that grand slam last night, and they annihilated Taiwan 13-0. I fucking watched that thing. It was stupid great. He is an insane ball player. How he's panicking? I don't think that. Shields, would you feel comfortable giving Carter $30 million? I'll wait. No way. I don't. I don't feel that. I don't feel. Okay. I'll tell you that would change my drafting too a little bit. Let me show you something here. So you got Jordan Davis in there, and you're going to pay him potentially $20 million. And if you do get rid of Carter and you make that Carter for Crosby deal, I'm not giving a one-up. I don't have to give a one-up now. And when I turn around then in the draft, and when I go down into the draft, and when I take that Florida kid at defensive tackle, when I take that kid Caleb Banks, that Caleb Banks kid is 6'6", 326. And he's compared to Dexter Lawrence, and he ran a 5 40. Okay? He ran a 5 40. You get him on a rookie deal. You're able to bring in Crosby. And you have a guy on a rookie contract. By the way, it's a character. So again, Daz is okay with the character issues and the injuries. Okay. Six, limited to 3 games due to broken foot, ranked top 5 in the SEC amongst pressures.